Hey guys, welcome to Munich, and of course, welcome to the brand new BMW Vision Neue Klasse. And I have here with me Kai Lange. He's the head of BMW iDesign, and of course, he's responsible for this beauty right behind me. But of course, it's your car, so I'm going to let you take it away and tell me a little bit about the front end design. We're going to move to the side all around and talk about the car a lot more. So, all yours.
All mine. Okay, thank you very much. Nice to meet you again.
You too, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
That's my pleasure. What you see is the combination of what we showed already. So when you look at the front end, you might be recognized to the Vision I Circular and the Vision D that you've seen previously. And to again show that we are not making up our mind every time new. So starting with the BMW logo, you find the same way that we communicated already with the circular show car. That's been etched out of the real material coming from the secondary aluminum bonnet. So that again is a story that we kept communicating and keep doing within these cars. So
to explain to people, sorry to interrupt you, but it's really a way to minimize the parts on a car, so it gets close to 100% being fully recyclable.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that was the story also for the circular, and you find it here again. Having like the minimum of parts that you would need to build a car, also on that one.
Understood.
Of course, we developed it further to the point that you would need some sort of like a bumper area, and we developed it again into the monomaterial down here that you will also find on the side, on the rocker area, and on the diffuser area in the back. Meaning you have a secondary material, monomaterial that could be recycled all the time, but to save the car from like little bumps, and on top serving as like aerodynamic
purposes.
flaps.
Yeah. So let me ask you about the kidney grille, right? I mean, such an iconic BMW design, and of course, this is moving away from what we see today. Tell me the story behind this one. I mean, it's very digital, but maybe explain to me what we see here, basically.
Again, the kidney in that form is also a development from what we've seen already with the circular throughout the Vision D and now in the Vision Neue Klasse. It is like the very essence of the BMW kidney, even though it's not the air intake anymore. It combines like our lights, also a new interpretation of our double headlight that you will find on all the cars, but brought into the future. And combines like all kind of like end sensors that we already know from iX, which is on the road today, where we combined the sensors into the kidney, and that in a very iconic shape. And then surrounded by a light there that we also already know from current production cars, such as the i7 or the i5.
Gotcha. So what's inside the kidney grille? Are there just like digital lights or LEDs, or I can't really tell. I mean, it's 3D shape. But
I would actually like to keep it magic, because this is what we like to talk about. It's like it's magic, right?
Okay.
As soon as you guys always ask, like, how do you do that?
I know, it's
like,
interesting.
I don't know how a magician would show up his tricks, right?
Got it.
But
tell me then about the light show then, because there is a light show going on.
What I can tell you then is like we're also talking about the future. We're talking about products that need to be future-proof. So therefore, they also need to be open for certain digitalization. And to be honest, we don't know what will come in like 5 to 7 years. Remember, like the whole AI discussion 2 years ago, it was not on the map at all, and right now it's like taking over the internet, right?
AI,
So we have to be open for all these kind of things, and this is what we also want to show in the kidney. So it's a sort of like individualization. Of course, we can play with it when it comes to welcoming scenarios, charging scenarios, or like interacting scenarios. But also it gives us a way of like staying open with it and for future functionalities.
Gotcha. So maybe go to the side and look at the proportions, right? Because clearly the proportions are quite important. And I know that I talked to Domagoj about this, and there is this differentiation between a 2.5 box design and a 3 box design. What's the difference really?
I mean, if you ask 5 different people, you will get 5 different answers, right?
So let's see. That's a good way to test it. Right? Exactly.
It's good for testing. So first of all, we chose like, I would call it a sedan proportion, right?
Okay.
We chose a sedan proportion, however you want to call it, 2.5, 3 box, or whatsoever.
Okay.
I call it sedan proportion.
Okay.
We chose it because this is where we're coming from, right? That's like a true to the bone BMW. This is when we talk about the old Neue Klasse back in the 60s, that was a mid-sized sedan. Now we're also coming up with a Neue Klasse, and we're talking about a mid-sized sedan because we as BMW have a lot of fans, right?
Yeah.
And we don't want to disappoint our fan base. Instead of, we want to encourage them that there is still, in our opinion, a space for a future sedan. Even though you might think that other companies say like sedan is dead, that's a concept out of the past right now. We don't think that because sedan has some possibilities. It's like elegant, it has a presence, a certain elegant presence. And yeah, we want to showcase with these kind of proportions that it could be still dynamic and very sporty and very, very progressively modern in the future. So
Gotcha.
what we show here is like a future-proof sedan.
Gotcha. So now a more specific question regarding to design. BMW always talks about the Ziegler line, the character line. It's gone on this car, but I see another crease, happening right there. What's the purpose of that one particularly?
I mean, what you see here is like also in terms of a reduced design, a very essential design, what we call, is like you can't take anything apart from this car anymore. It's like the essence, the pure essence of BMW. And you see you have like a split line that is dividing the volumes, just that one that you actually need in order to divide the volumes and have a direction change in the door section that we find here. Beside that, it's like very, very clean and very, very focused on its like sheer surface speed. I mean, you have a lot of sculptural development if you're honest. You got like very exposed wheels there, which like slowly grow into the body side and then growing out back here on the back again to give it like a pretty prominent stance. So sculptural wise, it's still a lot going on there, but on the graphical side, it's very, very quiet, very clean and reduced. Just doing the minimum that you need in order to have a BMW with it. And on top of that, you find a low belt line that we're also used to from BMWs in the past, and a reinterpreted Hofmeister knick. This time within the e-ink that we also have seen multiple times to interact with the people.
Gotcha. So before we move to the back, how feasible will this be ever in the future in a production car?
I mean,
that's every designer's dream, right?
It is. To be honest, I personally think that like a rear mirror does its job very, very good.
Yeah, you shouldn't reinvent something that works, right?
Exactly. So why reinvent something that is working already very, very good with like a very little effort? I mean, a mirror is like that easy to do the job, right? Instead of like a camera, and then you have to project the picture somewhere, and it's like there might be reasons for it, but to be honest, sometimes the mirror is just working fine, right?
But I'm gonna throw you a curveball right now because
throw the curveball.
Because now we don't have any door handles on the car, and the door handle works really well usually. So this is how you open the door on the BMW Vision Neue Klasse. Put your hand there, sensor sees your hand, and it opens the door. What's the philosophy right there now?
Okay, now I can give you that. That's a curveball.
I was not trying to trick you into it, but I was thinking as you were mentioning.
That's going to be a home run. I mean, in order, it's like we do all kind of like possibilities to get like flush door handles because of aerodynamic reasons, and you know it as well. Sure. The more clean you are, the better it is for aerodynamic efficiency. And instead of having like a very complicated mechanic that is like going in and being flush and whatsoever, we decided like get rid of the mechanic anyway and put like in a sensor which is like even cheaper than all the mechanics and could be even more efficient in terms of space and everything. So don't do any door handle.
Let's take a look in the back maybe a little bit, because I guess it's an interesting design right here for sure. I mean, it's got this negative space, or negative shape that I don't usually see on a BMW. So what's the story here? Because it's quite angled.
You don't see it, man.
I
mean,
do
this
you-
is
I
like
mean,
something that
and
we've
which-
seen in our past.
I mean, I'm looking at the new 5
2002.
Series. I mean, 2002, yes, like if you look at that by far, for
Yeah,
sure.
why not? I
yeah,
mean,
for
it's
sure,
like really
sure.
cool cars,
Yeah.
don't you think?
Yeah, definitely,
Yes,
yeah. Okay,
and
so that's the story
thought
there.
that
Okay.
They're pretty close to the Neue Klasse that happened
Yeah,
back then.
true. Okay,
So,
fair point.
I mean, we have some distinct gestures within our cars that we also wanted to highlight on that one. What we find here is also like a super clean rear end. You can't even clean it up even more. And then on top we had that story that you know from the iCircular to combine functions in order to reduce the amount of parts. So what you find here by like these high up placed taillights, you find out that you normally would have a gurney
A spoiler, yeah.
for a spoiler for aerodynamic reason, but now built into the taillight, to the
taillight.
part itself.
Sure.
And even so in a material that could allow like a very high precision within the line. So you kill two birds with one stone basically, and having a very reduced and clean rear end. And again, the same story like in the front. You see like the bumper area being within the monomaterial clearly for recycling. And to be honest, it saves the car. It saves like all these nice secondary aluminum surfaces from being scratched and bumped, and also serves for aerodynamic purposes as a very nice diffuser.
And no more L-shaped taillights, basically, a new design here, basically.
You find like the double icon repeated
In the back too.
within our back here.
How do you open the trunk? It's a concept car, but I'm kind of
I mean,
curious.
if you start the story with the sensors already, you can do it in the rear as well.
So I guess we find the sense. Very cool. So basically, what was the idea really to go with this negative shape right here to emphasize? What are you trying to emphasize really?
I mean, it's like really when we talk about design, you also talk about like how to reduce visual mass, how to really reduce mass and stuff like that. Because we wanted to make the car looking agile and lightweight. We know what batteries weigh, but actually cars shouldn't look like tanks or stuff like that. They should look agile, especially when you want to achieve a certain dynamic without being aggressive. You want to be light-footed. You want to make the car already looking that it could be like really agile and be very quick in corners and stuff like that. And there you try to find ways to cut volumes where you actually could cut, and you see like the main section in the back is like really cutting the mass out of it. But anyway, you need to have it for like structural reasons and bumper reasons. So we added it with this material to get basically the volume back, but the main volume stays like very, very
So
lightweight.
should we move inside, take a quick look at the interior design, and then we follow up on that? Perfect. All right, guys, so inside the BMW Vision Neue Klasse, clearly a vision car, a concept car. Quite cool looking, but once again, tell me the design philosophy right here.
Okay, what you see here is actually most interesting, the one thing that you don't see, which is like the iDrive that most people know
Used to use,
us for ages already. For the Neue Klasse, we decided to come up with a new way of interacting with the car, and we believe a way more convenient way. So what do you actually do? You will be able to interact via the right spoke, and that in a way that you could always have your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. I'll just tell you how. Then you can interact with the central display here, which is like also in a perfect reach of touching it. And from there, it would be very easy to control our panoramic vision, which is basically a head-up display stretched over the whole width of the windshield. So also visible for you as a co-driver for the first time. And you can decide on your own what kind of functions you want to have put on the panoramic vision. Of course, it would be like entertainment for the co-driver, and nevertheless, in the driver's axis would always be like the main information and main security information for the driver. So That's like a new way of the ergonomics that you already know from our cars back starting back in the 60s, where we had like the driver's orientation as like being focused on the driver.
Sure. What's this one? Just you'll be just a kind of like a drive and reverse kind of thing.
Exactly. That's just like our
gear shifter.
Shifter that you need. You have like a P here where you press.
Oh, I see. Okay, so there's a P there. I didn't see that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Where you press for park, and you it's like a pen that you would have lying on at home
Sure.
on somewhere around. So it's like
Gotcha.
a Handschmeichler we call in German.
And is it fair to say that having a dedicated EV platform gives you also room inside to play with space and all of that versus something else?
I mean, for sure. You see, like we haven't talked about that in the exterior. So, like we have a significantly shorter dash to axle than we normally use from BMW because of this new architecture here. But then, of course, that gives a lot more room to the interior space. And I think you could see like how much space you have everywhere, how low the belt line is, and how airy it all all looks like, and how good the feeling is within the car.
Very, very roomy. Perfect. Anything else worth mentioning? Maybe the material choices. I'm assuming sustainable also.
I mean, we're talking here, as you can see, we've got like no metal, no leather within the car inside here, and we actually also reduce the amount of materials to be used within the interior here. And then, of course, each material is then becoming like a monomaterial, which is the same story then on the exterior for recycling. When it comes to like the materials itself, how they are made, we decided on going like something that you really want to touch and where you feel the differences. And I mean, having like the cord here, that's obviously kind of a little bit of a reminiscence on all the days, but on the other side you see it's like a pretty cool fabric I really like, because it's like graphically very precise, and actually you really like to touch it. It's very welcoming and warm. And of course yellow is a color that everybody kind of likes.
Neutral in many ways.
Yes.
So the only thing I want to talk about digital, I don't want to touch too much. There is a certain feature that I said I want to see it because I haven't seen it. Apparently, if I'm going to say, hey BMW, I'm supposed to get information on my side, or at least the light moving over, and then moves over to your side if you say, hey BMW. So let's try it. Hey BMW. So basically the light and the panoramic vision moves to my side, and that way it knows that it's my voice and it's going to listen to my commands. So now let's try yours.
Hey BMW. So now I'm in charge. You can do like all the...
Very cool. It's also different colors, so he actually knows which one you're talking and gives you different colors. Very, very cool. Well, Kai, thank you so much. Amazing looking car. Look forward to seeing the production series 1, and I'm sure we'll going to be talking about Neue Klasse quite a bit in the future. Always a pleasure.
Late in 2 years then.
Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay.